Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so. You can follow me at Prime Real Estate Ric on Facebook and Instagram. As always, my co-host is a two-time author, Texas real estate broker, and serial entrepreneur. As always, I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are this evening catching the podcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for continuing to show, share, and let other people know that the podcast is out there. So thank you, Ric, for the warm introduction. I'm excited to be here again. Today, one of the guests is a longtime friend of mine. I probably have known him as long as I've been in the industry. It's funny because we used to even spend time together, staying in shape, playing a little flag football on the side. So we got them athletic genes in us around here. And, of course, he's one of my frat brothers, so you know he's a mighty, mighty brother of the KSI. So, you know, gotta love that. And, hey, guys, continue. You can follow me on any of the social media platforms at Texas Real Estate King. And thank you. Let's get it.
No, I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Mr. Danny Mckinney. This gentleman is the CEO and owner of Diversified Home Mortgage, and he is also the manager of DMAC Capital Funding. If you have any young aspiring entrepreneurs and business owners who's interested in growing their real estate practice in the same form that you'll be informed about today, please tag them, call them, text them, and make sure that they tune into today's episode. But without any further ado, I would like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Mr. Danny Mckinney.
Thank you very much. Thank you, brothers, for having me here.
No doubt about it, yo.
I've been checking you guys out. I've been really impressed and inspired by you guys. So I like your show, and I really appreciate you guys having me on.
No, I appreciate you for carving out a little time in your schedule, man. And I want to get straight to it because it's not every week that we actually have an opportunity to get a member of Mr. Larry Brooks's real estate power team here on the show.
This is one of the most important ones right here.
No,
too.
absolutely.
I'm telling
because
you, man, to get a man of this kind of clout out.
No, because me and Larry talk about this a lot because a lot of our viewers are entrepreneurs and business owners who may have heard of you, may know you from a distance, but haven't had the opportunity to actually sit down and pick your brain.
Right.
So I want to give those business owners and real estate pros that opportunity today via this platform.
Okay.
So first thing, let's talk a little bit about your organization.
Okay.
How is it that you made the decision that you were going to build such a wide-ranging organization where you can service a real estate investor from a 360 perspective?
Well, you know, going back, one of the main things that I've always wanted to do is help people generate wealth.
Yeah.
Along with myself. And the way that I felt early on when I first started my businesses was you have to control the money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hence there's Diversified Home Mortgage. I was a real estate broker before. I became a mortgage lender, and by owning the mortgage company gave me a little control over my clients and being able to help them a lot more by being able to control the funding.
That's right. Yeah.
And so therefore that's where I structured my company that way.
Because I want to talk a little bit about your website. For everyone who tunes into the Prime Real Estate Network, you can go to Mr. McKinney's website, and it is DannyMckinney.com. The reason I bring that up is because when people visit your website, what they'll notice is that you are there to service buyers, sellers, investors from a full 360 perspective. And the reason why I say 360 is because when they decide to work with you, they don't have to go outside of your umbrella for any aspect of the process.
Right.
How have you found that luxury and convenience has worked out for your clients?
Oh, perfectly. Most buyers want to know that you have, you can provide them with an array of services. And where I look is it's called added value.
That's right.
Being able to provide your client with that added value. One, they don't have to go anywhere else because one, they trust you on the mortgage side. You get them approved, you got that part done. And then helping them find or locate either properties, whether it's investment property, apartment complexes, or whether it's, single family residence. People feel confident that they know they're in a place where everything is taken care of.
I agree.
And there's an incentive. I mean, from a real estate standpoint, I know my job is to get that loan done and make sure that borrower is approved so that they can get into their dream home.
That's right.
So, Mr. Brooks, and I know you get this a lot because I wanted to ask Danny while he was here on the show about real estate investors that you may run into as you market and promote and network. Danny, could you speak to our audience about the difference between passive investment
Sure.
and investing where it is not passive, meaning fix and flips, investing in homes, wholesaling, and things of that nature? Because I think sometimes people might not necessarily understand the difference.
Well, two ways I look at it. Fixing and flipping, of course, you can buy a property, flip it, and make $30,000, $40,000 on it, sometimes even more. I think they say the average flip is like $60K, what some people make.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's one hitter quitter.
Yeah.
Right.
You make that money, you got to move on to the next one. There are other ways, such as buy and hold, or you can do what we call private lending. A lot of people are not aware of what private lending is, and I have a handbook on private lending. If you go to my website, it's a free handbook.
Yeah.
I show people exactly how to do private lending, whether it's investing in a fund or whether or not you do it on your own or you do onesies.
Yeah.
And private lending is passive, it's predictable. It's basically you being a bank. You loaning money on a property that either an investor wants to buy or a homeowner wants to buy, and you do exactly what the bank does. You collect the interest.
Wow.
The thing is, you have control.
Yeah.
You can charge. So while you sleeping at night, your money is
It's
earning
working for
money,
you, no
and
doubt
that's
about it.
passive income.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's so many individuals who would like to invest in the real estate space, but feel as if I don't have a construction background. I don't know anything about design. I don't know anything about how to find a contractor, which makes them stay on the sideline. Whereas if they knew about more of a passive way to invest, they would actually get involved. And I want to make sure we share enough information with the audience so that they understand that they need to stop wasting these days. Because living here in the greater Houston area, there's no better place on earth
Exactly.
to get involved from a real estate investment space. So I would like to ask both of you gentlemen, as far as passive real estate investing, Mr. McKinney, let's speak about the difference between investing in a property through a capital fund like you manage
Okay.
and being out there with all the risk as an individual.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot more safety in
Right.
being part of a group and a fund that's managed by someone like yourself as opposed to being an
That's a good
individual
one. So,
investor.
how is the fund set up? Is it a group individual?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna let you answer that.
Yeah. Basically, DMAC Capital Funding is the fund that I started last year, and it actually took me about a year after research. I wanted to start it in 17, and it actually took me 18 to actually get it because I just didn't want to jump out there not knowing everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So I hired an advisory company to advise me on how to set it up.
Sweet,
Okay.
sweet, smart.
It's a fund that is registered and regulated by the SEC.
Okay.
Okay, it's a Reg D fund. It's a debt fund. There's a difference between debt fund and an equity fund.
Yeah.
A debt fund is basically we take the money from our investors and we loan it out. Okay, so it's basically like we created a bank,
Right, absolutely.
but we're using private individuals' funds as opposed to going to a bank. Now we can go to the bank also and borrow money from them at 3%,
Right.
and then loan it out at a higher interest rate or whatever and make the difference on that. That's one way to do it. But how we work with private individuals is that they come in into the fund.
Yeah.
Now, one important thing about that fund is that we can solicit to anyone, but they have to be an accredited investor.
Okay.
For this
Now,
particular
explain
fund.
that, because I know that because of now that we have social media and you see everyone creating a hedge fund or everyone creating a vehicle that people can invest in, you hear that term all the time, but I
Correct.
know people don't know the difference between an accredited and a non-accredited investor.
Right. Accredited investor basically is any individual who earns $200,000 or more, or if they're married, you have to earn $300,000 or more. You have to prove that you've been doing that for the last couple of years, and you intend on doing that in the future. Or you have $1 million in assets, verifiable assets, outside of your homestead.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes you an accredited investor, and the reason why they do that is because they don't want investors who are not knowledgeable to be investing in these, because we don't have to register the securities that we offer our individuals. Therefore, they make sure that we solicit to accredited investors.
Absolutely.
Now,
Okay.
my next fund is going to be a Reg A fund, where you don't necessarily have to be an accredited investor.
Now,
So you
when
can
it
have
comes to those
anyone
Reg
from-
A's, I was about that. So when it comes to those Reg A's, is there a minimum that you guys are allowed to put on it?
Yeah, I mean, you could do, all the way down to $5,000 if you want for an investor to come in at $5,000. Typically, mine is $50,000 investment into my fund. It's a debt fund, but the next one you're going to be down to $5. I might even drop it down to $25. But but they limit the number of investors that you can have to come in. So, but it's a good vehicle, because think about it. Most people work at a job.
That's right.
They have a 401k.
Yeah.
When I ask them how much you making on your 401k, they can't tell me.
Because
Well,
they
I
making
just
that
know
kind of
that
money
I have
off
this
of it.
amount of money in there.
Yeah.
Well, what interest or what return on your investment are you getting from that? And most people can't tell me what type of return they're getting. So with the fund, we're doing anywhere between 10 to 12% return on your money.
Yeah.
So. And we're investing in something that's predictable, because it's a mortgage note.
That's right. That's right.
No,
So
because
Worst case
every
scenario,
month
you
it's
go
gonna-
back and get it. No,
And you can go back and get
Own
it.
That's
but
right,
every month that income is going to come in from that particular loan.
Yeah.
So it's different ways to look at things and invest.
The funny thing, Danny, and what stands out so much about it when it comes to you, I know you personally, but I watch social media and I know all of these hot rod guys, I guess the ones that you hear talk and speak about it, give all the energy about it. And I think sometimes it just floats over a lot of people's head when they discuss it, because they really don't get it and they don't know how to connect the two.
Right.
And so just sitting there talking to you about it, I'm like, it's easy mathematics. It just makes sense.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's just look at it like this: private lending. You can either do it on your own, or you can do it through a fund.
Yep.
Okay. You can do onesies and twosies. You can promote yourself out there and say, look, if you need money to buy real estate, you want to buy a $50,000 home, and you have it in your bank account, you can help that investor or that person by loaning them that money, just like the bank. They're going to put a mortgage. You make sure that they close at a title company.
Yeah.
You make sure they have insurance on it. You make sure you get a title policy to protect yourself. They may use your money for only 6 months. They may fix it up, flip it. You can also negotiate part of the profits in the deal.
Yeah.
Or you can say, look, I don't have time to look for people. I don't have time to do all of that. I have a good job, but I make good money, and I have an investment, and I want to pull that investment out and make better returns on my money. Then you put your money into a fund.
Absolutely.
Where you have a manager like myself who is an expert in real estate, who know where the deals are, who know how to go get deals, who know how to structure deals, and you work with individuals like myself.
Yeah.
Right, because I always explain to a lot of the clients that I work with is that, especially in investing, you want to work smart, not hard.
Correct.
And if you aren't versed in certain aspects of real estate investment, it would only behoove you to work with a manager with experience in that arena and invest with like-minded people, because it helps to alleviate the fear of risk.
Exactly.
Because that's why I was so excited when Larry informed me that you'll be able to join us this week, because there are so many people who are online and they watch infomercials on YouTube, and there are so many dynamic presenters and speakers that it's not hard to be impressed by what people are saying, but sometimes people are a bit risk averse when it comes to actually moving forward and investing with some guy who just has a video on YouTube. So what I want everyone who hears this interview to know is that they can schedule consultations with you directly.
Correct.
And that you are starting a fund for those first-time investors.
Correct.
So that you can help to bring them from first-time to accredited.
Correct.
Because I think what some people who hear this interview are going to think is, well, how can I ever get to the point
Right.
where I have $1 million in assets
Right.
and I can become accredited? You are one of the few fund managers who's kind of, for lack of a better term, starting that training process.
Right.
We're going to start you here.
Right.
And then as a group of
Right.
like-minded investors, we're
Right.
going to move you through the process and get you here to a graduation
Yep.
Right.
where you can then become accredited, and then now you can start playing
Right.
in the big leagues.
In the bigger leagues.
Yeah.
Right.
So for those who would just be absolutely just interested in, I want to get in contact with you, Mr. McKinney, I want to get some education.
Right.
How would you advise them to first start educating themselves about your fund and what it is that you bring to the table?
Well, one of the first things I would suggest is, I have an ebook or a handbook. Download that handbook. It talks about private lending. It talks about how you can utilize your funds and put it either with a manager, a fund manager, or how actually private lending works.
Yeah.
And private lending is exactly what it says. It's you as an individual loan or take your money and loan it on properties.
Yeah.
And my suggestion would be properties because they're more secure.
No doubt.
You can
Absolutely.
put your hands on it.
Absolutely.
And you try to limit yourself in terms of if a property's worth $100,000 and you have, $100,000, you don't loan $100,000 on it, you loan $70,000 on it. Because if it's worth $100, you have that difference
cushion,
in that
no doubt.
cushion in
Yeah.
there. So if
Yeah.
push come to shove, all falls apart, you can always go get the property. You can sell it at $70,000
Yeah.
Yep.
if it's worth $100.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So your risk is very minimal. It's predictable. Once you set up a mortgage on a property from your investment, every month
Yeah.
you're going to collect
Absolutely.
at that interest rate.
And with you, Danny, you kind of, I guess, when it comes to managing the fund, you kind of help people when it comes to putting those contracts. Well, maybe not physically putting the contracts in place, but you kind of give them an idea through maybe examples of your business transactions that you've had on how the contract will look. Because I think that's a part of the fear too. Like, okay, well, I could try this, but I don't know how to structure a contract and make it look like a mortgage. So that's something that you're
right. Well, being a licensed mortgage, and the rule is, and I'm not going to get too much into the law, but the rule is you can't do more as a private lender. You can't do more than 5 unless you go through a mortgage company. So how you cut that? You use a company like Diversified Home Mortgage or DMAC Capital to fund or structure that particular. So after your 5th one,
Yeah.
you're in compliance because you can go through a mortgage company and just make sure that they structure it. So you don't have to necessarily go to a fund. You can say, look, I've worked 30 years in my 401k. I have an extra $100,000 that I want to just get a better return on it.
Yeah.
Because my 401k is only paying me 3-4%.
Yeah.
So if I can get 10% on $100,000 out of my fund, out of my 401k, let me pull it out.
Yeah.
Let me put it into a property. There's a lot of real estate investors who need private lending.
No doubt
who
about it.
need
Yeah.
private investors to loan so they can use the property for 3 months, fix it up, and turn around and sell it.
Sell it. Yeah.
Why not allow them to use your funds? You can earn 10%. The going rate right now is 10%.
Yeah.
So you get 10% return on your money, as opposed to if
Quick
it's sitting
turnaround.
in the bank, you getting what, less than 1%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No doubt.
You
The
know?
math is easy.
But
man.
the math is so concrete and makes so much sense that me and Larry discussed this a lot, is that the only thing that's keeping people from doing this is just the lack of knowledge. The lack of
Right.
inclusion,
Right.
the lack of who to go to,
Right.
to who can provide this service.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we're going to take a short break, Danny.
Okay.
But when we come back, I want to talk to a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you've evolved as a businessman,
Right.
Yeah.
and who served as any inspirations or mentors in that journey.
Excellent.
And while we're taking that short break, please take some time to go to DannyMcKinney.com, favorite the website, download his ebook, and learn a little bit more about fund management, real estate investing, and all the alike. But I want to urge you to tune back into the Prime Real Estate Network. We're going to take a short break for a message from our sponsor. This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area, and you find yourself falling in love with the home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963. And remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Rick Davis. You can follow me on social media at Prime Real Estate Rick. I urge everyone to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, to keep up with the Prime Real Estate Network podcast and all of the information and all of the events at Brooks & Davis Real Estate. As always, my co-host is the Texas Real Estate King, two-time author, serial entrepreneur, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. And our special guest this week is Mr. Danny Mckinney, CEO and owner of Diversified Home Mortgage, and he's also the manager of DMAC Capital Funding. Mr. Brooks, I know you had a question for Mr. Mckinney coming out of the break, so I wanted to turn the floor over to you.
Well, you know, the thing is I've had an opportunity to know Mr. McKinney Danny for years, and I've always been excited about his journey too. Because, like I said, he had the livest cars when we pull up at the flag football field. He had the drop top that everybody be looking over into. That was Danny. So
Wow, that was back in the day.
You remember that, right?
I remember that.
So
yes.
So then, what got you into? How did you start your entrepreneurship journey? Because you've always been one as long as I've known you. But how did that start?
Right. I would have to say I would give one of the inspirations to my Uncle David, rest in peace. He probably inspired me as far as real estate is concerned, because I remember going with him, help him clean out some of his investment properties, what have you. And I always remember him telling me, most of the wealthy people own real estate.
Wow.
And that stuck with me as a little
great
child.
Conversation to hear, man. Yeah.
And I think going to college, I think I was up one night watching this guy called Dave Deodato out of Hawaii. He used to advertise an infomercial.
And that's how I know he left a mark. That's how I know he really impressed you. You remember his name and everything.
Oh, man, this man. And I used to, his infomercial would come on, and I would be like glued to the TV. And I'm in undergrad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And as soon as I finished undergrad, man, I bought his course.
Wow.
And
I
bought one of his course. I
Leap
scraped up the money to buy his course. And then that led me to go to real estate school, and I got my real estate license in 1991.
Wow.
And then from
there,
there,
you don't look like you'd had that many years of real estate under your belt.
20.
Man.
It'll be 28 in June. 28 years in June.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's impressive. So, the thing about it is that you were influenced from a real estate investment space pretty young, but the thing that I've always been the most impressed about, as far as when you were building your real estate company and your brand, is how diversified it is. Was there someone that served as a business mentor who talked to you about making sure that you covered all of your bases from that standpoint?
I really can't say that I had, one specific business mentor. I went to law school in 93, finished in 96 from Thurgood Marshall School of Law here at TSU, Texas Southern University.
Represent.
I decided after my last semester in law school that real estate was my passion.
Yeah.
So I went back into real estate because I had my license beforehand, and I finished in May. In September or July, I opened the real estate company. And then in September, I opened the mortgage company. Yeah. So they've been feeding each other since then, since 1996.
Rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah.
Just staying consistent with it. It's crazy, yeah.
As far as a mentor, along the way, there have been lots of people that have influenced me in terms of, but a lot of it is really self-learned as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, because trial and error and experience is the best educator. But the thing is that I always try to impress upon the youth is that those who are successful model their practice after other successful people.
Correct.
That's right.
I mean, really, nothing else really makes sense from that standpoint.
Right.
What is the thing that you think would be most important when you speak with the youth as far as the mindset necessary to become a successful entrepreneur and business person?
Constantly educate yourself. Sometimes we only go as far as what we can see.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing. I had the conversation with my daughter last night, and she's 16. Bless her heart, I love her to death. Aaliyah McKinney. But we have to educate ourselves. I think over the Christmas holidays, I probably bought 7 books that I'm in the process of reading, what have you. So the education doesn't stop. Whether it's you get a formal education, whatever, you constantly have to educate yourself. So whatever you want to do, if you don't have that mentor, find one. If you can't find one, find it in a book.
Yeah.
Pick up that book. That book can open your mind to different avenues. Yeah. And it's amazing when you do that, what you draw to you. Mm-hmm. Because you're looking for a mentor, you can't find one, and you start reading a book on an industry that you love or are interested in, then all of a sudden here comes a mentor in your path. Yeah. It's amazing how that works.
Law of attraction, man. It works every time.
So definitely continue to educate yourself. I educate myself. I mean, it's a constant education.
Yeah, I understand totally. And you know, it's really cool that you're willing to impart that wisdom and those tidbits with the public, because a lot of times when those who are truly successful are sharing some of their insights, is usually on a really big stage. It's like a auditorium with 2,000 people, and you're on a stage in a spotlight, and the people in the crowd are like, oh my goodness, they feel so far removed that they don't ever get an opportunity to have that private conversation where they're able to get a bit more specific about what they want to ask you. So we're always at a part of the show where we always try to dispel certain real estate myths and rumors that have that's permeated the real estate buying public. So that's something that Larry is really passionate about.
I am.
It's because Larry does so much networking and he meets so many different people that he's always dispelling these certain myths. Yeah. So is there something that you wanted to speak with Danny about this week, Larry, so that we can dispel one of those myths?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing because I listen to a lot. I listen to podcasts as well. And there's one guy, and I call him Dior. I'll say his name is Dior. I don't want to drop his name, but he always talks about, you know, the quickest way to become a millionaire. And a lot of times when he's giving advice to people, and I get that he's failed and this is the area that he feels like people should go in, but he never talks about, he always dispels when people get ready to say, well, I got, you know, $50,000 worth of equity in my house, and, you know, should I do this? And so my thing, Danny, when I think about it, and I want to get your opinion on it, you know, I hear people brag about, well, I've saved up this much equity in my house. I got $50,000. If I ever need this or need that, I got the equity in my house. When you think about that, what's your opinion on that?
I have this conversation day in, day out with investors and people that want to invest, and I have to advise them that equity in your property is doing nothing for you. If you're not taking it out and monetizing it and putting it into something that is paying you every month or paying you yearly, then you're really wasting it.
It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have people that brag, I got this property, I have that property, I have this much equity in it. Well, if it's not paying you every month, then it's not doing anything. So I try to advise people, look, take that equity out, put it into a property, put it into doing private lending, put it into a fund. Such as mine, and let's work together and let that money work for itself. You know, there's several ways to have cash flow. Yeah. And you can do one, just go to a job every day, or you can have several, you know.
I agree.
Investing in real estate, that pays you every month.
That's right.
And I mean, it's absolutely astounding to me how many avenues there are to invest in real estate once you're educated. Because there are so many people now been living in their homes between 10 and 15 years in an area that's appreciating in value, and they just don't understand that $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 could be working for them in a real estate investment account, and like you say, making that 10% every 9 to 12 months and roll over and compound. So I think that is something that I want to impart upon everyone who is listening to this episode to consider. So I want to make sure, please share all of your contact information and how people can get in contact with you today, sir. Okay. If this is something that has just been speaking to them and it's been on their heart and they want to actually move forward now.
Okay. You can reach me at DannyMcKinney.com. That's one of the easiest ways to reach me. It has my direct cell phone number on there, so if you want to call me directly. Then you can also reach me at dhmlending.com. That is my mortgage company where we're helping individuals create wealth through buying home ownership. And also DMAC Capital Funding, where that's my private equity investment fund that we loan money out. We take an investor's money and we loan it out on commercial property and some high-end residential property.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Mr. Brooks, is there anything you would like to share with the audience in closing?
Not at all. If you are in the South Loop area in Houston, Texas, 2600 South Loop, we have a speaker, Tony Robbins. One of his members is going to be at the Brooks and Davis office today. So come by, get motivated, get structure behind you. He'll be there at 1 o'clock. So feel free. We're in Suite 310. Come on by. But other than that, guys, it's been a pleasure. Make sure that you share this because the information that Danny is giving today, again, it's one of those secret things that if you don't know, you don't know. So now you can no longer say you don't know a great area that you can invest your money and make money. So as you come to me and you say, Larry, I got 10 grand or I got 50 grand. What should I do with this money? Come on now. We done talked about this. All right. I'm sorry.
No, please.
Because I get it all the time.
I know you do.
I know all the time. Yeah.
On behalf of the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, and Mr. Danny McKinney of DMAC Capital Funding, I'm Rick Davis. I thank everyone for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network, and we'll have another great episode for you next Thursday. So see you then, and stay blessed.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.